My name is Shauna Chance. I'm a detective in the Major Crime Unit. Joining the Major Crime Unit, I was quite keen to become trained in being a Family Liaison Officer. Victims have always been the reason I joined the police in the first place. I've always been quite centred around my victims and offering them the most support that I can, because that is why I do the job. I do the job for the victims and to bring justice for the victims, and that doesn't change joining this role. The support of a Family Liaison Officer is given to the families and loved ones of criminal investigations, so murders, fatal road collisions, rail fatalities and any mass casualty offences. We are given or assigned to speak to the next of kin as our primary contact, and then the next of kin can then divulge any information that we give them to the outer family and friends, but our main point of contact would be the next of kin. So one of the first things we'll do when speaking with the next of kin is speak to them about the signposting that we can offer them. So for murders, we may offer you to the National Homicide Service. For road traffic collisions or fatal road traffic collisions, we may signpost you to Road Victims Trust. And then if there's any children involved, we may signpost those children to the Child Victims of Crime. So all of them will offer varying different sort of supports. They'll offer emotional support, they'll offer financial guidance. There's a number of services that they all can offer which will support the families and the next of kins through one of the hardest times of their lives. Once we've done signposting or spoken about signposting, we'll then explain briefly about the criminal investigation and what that will look like. So for most members of the public, they don't know much about the police side of things and what a criminal investigation would be. So it's breaking that down for them and explaining step by step how it will go. One of our main roles is to be a link between the investigation and that next of kin, but also a link between the coroner and the next of kin. So following on from that, we'll then speak with the next of kin about victimology, and part of that is finding out when they last spoke to their loved one, what they know about their loved one's last movements. And we're still investigators as Family Liaison Officers, so we gather as much information and evidence as we can from the family, because the family will know, everything about that loved one's life, and they may be able to tell us the significance of a name or a location or anything like that. So they are really key in helping us with the investigation. So following that, we'll then explain the court processes should somebody be charged, what the court process looks like, the step-by-step as to what they may want to be involved in or not involved in when it comes to the court process. And then should somebody be convicted of being responsible for their loved one dying, we may then get a victim personal statement, and that is really important because that is giving the victim a voice. They can say everything they want to about their loved one and how this crime has impacted their families, and how the loss of their loved one has affected them. My main motivation to join the police wasn't to arrest suspects. It was to bring victims of crime the justice that they deserve, and being a Family Liaison Officer allows me to be there for the families and support the families, as I know I would want if I was in their position. So becoming a Family Liaison Officer in my department, it motivates me throughout my day-to-day job, which is mostly investigating the crime itself. So it allows me, it gives me the motivation I need to keep going, and it reminds me that the reason I joined the police was to give victims and family of victims the justice that they do deserve, and it gives me that other side of why I want to do what I do.